Achoo! Moo? Boo! No, don't worry, I've not travelled through a creaky door, sneezed at all the dust before blowing a trumpet, confusing a cow and making the crowd angry. I only do that sort of thing on a Saturday. I was just playing Uproar, the very funny game of silly sounds from Macmillan. It's a super simple but incredibly fun play, suitable for anyone of any age at all, as long as you can read, match words, and most importantly, make amazing noises like surprised cat, meow, or bubbles, or twit twoo. Can you guess what that was? Yeah, that's right, a sad owl. Twit twoo. Oh wait, that wasn't me that time. I am a sad owl. Oh no, why are you sad? Because I'd like to have a go at funny noises too. Oh, okay, go on then. If you go to macmillan.fun and use the code CC4K, you'll get a fancy 10% off the brilliant Uproar game. What sound effect was that? Rubbish podcast host. Oh. As the sad owl, who is rubbish at sound effects, says, head to macmillan.fun and have a look at any of their brilliant, very funny games, including the wonderful Uproar. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can use the code CC4K to get a whole 10% off. Woohoo! I'm a happy owl now. You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Oh my crikey, steaming weasels. It's Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast, suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and as you can tell from that intro, I am trying new exclamatory terms. You know what those are? They're like when you need a phrase to say, for when you bang your toe, or something goes wrong, or your bum falls off, or a moose wreaks havoc in your living room. But it's a phrase that isn't rude and isn't swearing, right? It's just something that's making you go, ah, right? It's like really boring when people just go, oh goodness, or oh sugar, right? And that's a really weird one because sugar is great, right? If a moose, like a really big moose, ran into your living room while you're watching TV, it put its antlers through the screen, it broke loads of your stuff, and then it made a big moose noise and did a giant moose poo in the middle of the room on the rug, why would you say it was oh sugar, right? It's not like sugar, is it? Right, I know sugar isn't good for you, but it's still not as bad as a giant moose poo on your carpet, is it? So, I'm just trying to think of better ways to exclaim that you could use instead. And it turns out, as long as you say words in a certain way, there's loads of other things you can use. I mean, check this. Oh, flaming turtle bottoms. Toasted cheese sandwiches given to a walrus. Ooh, tortilla chips. My left foot doing a dance to music played by a slug with a banjo. It's actually really fun, isn't it? You can just use anything. Your friends or family might have really good names that you could use for exclamations. Like, Linda! Linda! Linda? Do you mind me using your name, Linda? 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 Oh, wobbly Lindas. She's not here again. Is she ever here? Who is she? Where is she? Anyway, look, if you know someone, for example, called Frank, that's a great one to use, isn't it? Oh, giant Franks! If you can think of any good ones, please do send them in. And of course, if you'd like to send in anything really, jokes, ideas, and most importantly, questions you need answering on this show, then please get your stinking cheese snorers. Ooh, that works, doesn't it? Stinking cheese snorers! Sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email us at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Also, if you'd like to win a copy of Uproar, the brilliant game of silly sounds from Macmillan, all you have to do is send in a recording of your impression of the silly sounds that I ask for each week on this show. We've given away 2 already. I still haven't picked a winner for the happy frog impression I asked for last week. If you think you can do a good happy frog, then please get your grown-ups to help you record it using a phone, tablet, computer, or if you're really inventive, maybe find a way to type an impression or even draw one. And then send that into our usual podcast address. And this week, I'm also going to ask for, let me just shuffle my Uproar cards deck here. Ooh, nice one. Video game. Can you do an impression of a happy frog or a video game? Send it in and you could win a game of Uproar and it is properly fun. Also, I'd like to say a really big shout out. That's what people say, isn't it? Like, you just say, I'd like to give a shout out, but you don't actually just shout out, as I think it just sounds rude or weird if you go, hey, or oi, you lot. But I would like to give a big oi, you lot to everyone who came to see Comedy Club for Kids at Camp Festival last weekend, especially Chrissy, who waited after the show to give me a brilliant picture of a very jazzy leopard that she drew. Thank you for that, Chrissy. It is amazing. And to Leo as well, who wanted to tell me that he'd been listening to his podcast for a year. Wow. I'm guessing he means just sort of non-stop for a year, like he hasn't done anything else at all for a year, like go to school or eat or poo. He's just been too busy listening to this show. Well, thank you, Leo. I should say it is okay to have a 5-minute poo break from this show, though you looked very well, considering you might not have pooed or eaten for a year, and it was very nice to say hello. If you also came along and I didn't get to meet you afterwards, thank you for being such a lovely audience. We had so much fun at Camp Festival. We're also at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival all month. I'll be doing 3 of the shows up there myself, and at Camp Festival in Shropshire, the Big Feastival, and a few others too, and I'll also be at some of those. You can check all of our live shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk. You can grab our t-shirts or book on how to do comedy at comedyclubforkids.store. And if you wear a Radio Nonsense t-shirt to our Comedy Club for Kids shows, I will definitely point at you and shout, "Oh, wobbly Linders!" very, very loudly. Right, and now, would you believe it? Oh, 12 hairy geese! It's the most importantest bit. It is great to be joined again by none other than Howard Reed, aka H-Ree, aka Hoo-Ha Trouser Waffle of the Arctic, and of course, as he's known to Mizo speakers across the world, Music Lama Fat Bertu Chu. But of course, all of our listeners will know you as the man who discovered the potato foot, which is where all the potatoes come from. You're the owner of the world's biggest collection of things absolutely no one else wants to collect, and most famously, the inventor of moon cream to help stop people getting moonburn on a particularly clear night. And we're so grateful that you came up with that. How you doing, Howard? Are you well?
I'm very, very well indeed. Yes. You'd start off by saying I was none other than I am also me as well.
Oh, is that right? You're Howard Reed, but you're also Howard Reed.
Yes.
Right. That's how does that work with sort of getting posts and stuff?
It's tricky because I live in a different place for security reasons, and so a lot of it gets lost. So I haven't got many gardening magazines as I'd like.
That's a real shame. That is a real shame because I know that's one of the many things that you collect that no one else wants to.
I obviously get sent a lot of gardening magazines. I also get sent a lot of spam. But not junk mail. The spam, processed lunch and meat spam, which I collect for longer than is safe to eat.
Sure.
So I collect it way past the sell-by date, which takes ages because it's obviously designed to last a very long time.
Yeah, I was going to say because it's in tin, so it has to be like hundreds of years old, doesn't it?
Right.
Really,
I mean, I'm playing the long game.
Yeah.
Playing the long game on that one. There's toenails, there's shavings from the shells of whelks.
Oh yes, of course, I forgot you had those,
and there's llama ears that have fallen off sometimes, but very, very rarely llamas shed their ears. I'm going to say very, it's almost never happened, but I'm there. Behind the llamas trying to pick up their ears.
That is really complicated. You got a whole load of red trousers as well. I'm sure you've got just some.
I follow upper middle class men around, and
do you get it? Do you follow them around? Do you take their trousers while they're wearing them, or you've got?
If they annoy me, annoy me, yes, sometimes. But I try and pluck them just before, because when you've got a red trouser. If you wash it regularly, it slowly fades to pink and you don't look quite as resplendent. And I try and pluck the red trousers from the upper middle class men just before that happens. Sure. Otherwise you've got a room full of pink jeans.
Yes.
And that's not what I'm after because that's loads of people obviously collect pink jeans. I'm after red trousers.
Oh, that makes total sense. I love that you're so dedicated to this collection that you've really worked out the exact moments when things have to be collected so that they are least wanted by anyone else.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's important to me that that all of my collections are of no interest to anybody else, because I really enjoy showing them to other people and boring them into submission.
Can I check, because you are Howard Reed, but also you are Howard Reed? Is your
Yes.
collection of interest to the other Howard Reed that you also are?
Oh, that's not mine. That's not mine.
Right. Sure. Okay.
No.
Sure.
So yeah. So I don't care about it, but I do.
That must be quite confusing for you, and probably quite irritating when yourself, that whose collection it isn't, perhaps wants more space in your home, but it's full of all this old spam and red trousers.
Yeah. Red trousers.
Yeah.
Shavings from the shells of whelks.
Yeah.
Lamarias. It's yeah. And sometimes you get the two confused, and you try and put some lamarias on an upper middle class man. It's a nightmare. It's a minefield, but it's worth pursuing. Tiernan.
Yes. Well, of course, it's worth pursuing, because it's one of the many things that people know you for, and it's good. It's good to be known for something, I think.
And me.
Yeah. Yes, and it's also one of the many things people know you for, but they know that you don't like that, which is more confusing.
Yeah.
Can I check? You're only two Howard Reeds. You're not all the other Howard Reeds, are you? Or how many Howard Reeds are you?
Yeah, no, it's just the two.
Right,
yeah,
sure.
I'm not a greedy man. I'm just the two.
Sure. So any other Howard Reeds are not remotely affiliated in any way.
No, and we do have to say that at the end of everything I say throughout this podcast. You can just say that after every sentence.
Sure. Okay. I will try to remember to say so after every sentence, because we've already said quite a lot of sentences and I haven't mentioned it yet, and I'm concerned now that we may have some legal issues.
You can just say it once really loud. Maybe that'll cover it.
This Howard Reed is not affiliated with all the other Howard Reeds, apart from the other Howard Reed that he also is. Is that?
Yes, that's perfect. I think that'll
great.
cover it.
Thank you. That's good. I'm sorry. I should have checked. I forget to sort of check with guests about the legal, issues.
Always need legal disclaimers throughout everything I do.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Wow. Well, I mean, obviously you've been very busy, and are you well? And apart from sort of collecting, I mean, I don't know if you have any time in your life other than collecting things.
Not really. It's the chasing upper middle class men around it and taking their trousers. It takes up a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of time to do anything else, unfortunately. But yeah, that's me. That's kind of me. That's kind of everything I've been doing.
That's everything you've been doing. If you remember, sort of eating,
including this, I can't do this. I haven't got time.
You haven't.
I haven't got time to do this.
But have you got time for this?
Obviously, yeah. Sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Sure. That makes perfect sense. How are you? Are you fitting in some of the basic sort of things, like eating or sort of sneezing, or the things that
making laminated sourdough pastry? Yeah, I'm doing that. Obviously, I'm doing the basics. I'm making laminated croissants. I'm making croissants.
Yeah, but I didn't know you laminate croissants. Is that where you sort of you wrap plastic over them and then no one can eat them?
Yeah, they're revolting.
Right, sure.
They're covered in melted plastic.
Yeah, that's quite disgusting.
yeah.
It does mean I suppose they last for a very long time.
Yes, so they can go next to the spam. Yeah. So once I've fed the butter and pastry through the laminator, it's just all melted and burnt. But then you can put it next to the spam. I stack it all up for in the long game, I've got a lot of totally inedible food.
But that's too many people have food that they can eat, and what's new about that? What's interesting about that? Everyone's done that. I've got I had a sandwich yesterday and I ate it. That's boring, isn't it? Really,
I mean,
boring.
That's so yesterday and the day before, and the day before that, and last year and the year before. Yeah, I mean, the future is only having totally inedible food.
Yes, absolutely. And I think if we could all kind of aim to have. I tell you what I did get this week was my mum and dad tried to grow vegetables in their garden, and they gave us a lettuce this week, and the lettuce was covered in tiny little green creatures. I think they were aphids, and as I tried to get rid of the green creatures, 2 snails popped out as well, and I realised they'd just given us a mini petting zoo. They hadn't given us food at all. They'd given us like a small petting zoo.
The gift that keeps giving as well. It's not just a lettuce; it's entertainment.
Yes,
it's like a jungle. It's lovely.
It was. Yeah, I was sort of hoping more exciting that like a lion might fall out or So, but it was just the snails and the aphids. So maybe that's like a starter pack, and the bigger the lettuce, the more things fall out.
Yeah. And did you feel like you could sort of get a tiny sword or something and wade into the lettuce and try and defeat all the little creatures like some sort of computer game before you win the lettuce, the edible lettuce at the end? Or is the lettuce pretty much eaten by
there's not really anything left of the everything's had a snack on it except for me. But you're right, I should have got one of those tiny little a toothpick, a cocktail stick or something, and I should have just gone in and tried to defeat them. But I also felt quite
obviously
bad,
armed them as well.
They were having quite a great time there, and I didn't want to be the party pooper. I mean, I was, because I washed them all off, but I also didn't, felt bad about it.
You're basically demolishing a mini Beast Alton Towers.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I worry that they'll know me now as some sort of feared figure in the kind of aphid community.
Here comes the buzzkill.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Tiernan Duyeb, the massive buzzkill Tiernan Duyeb coming to destroy our theme parks.
Yeah. So I do feel bad. I do feel bad about it. But I have got some lettuce now.
Yeah, great, lovely.
Yeah.
What are you gonna build out of that?
I don't know. I think it'd make quite a sort of nice floppy hat.
Nice, yeah.
But then maybe I should go down your route and laminate it, and then keep it on, on the mantelpiece or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you could laminate them and make a book of lettuce that you could look through and go, I can't eat that one. Turn the page. I can't eat that one either.
It's a great book. It's a great book, and I like that it's sort of you kind of know what you're getting. So there's no horrible surprises, which I've already had with the snails and the aphids anyway. So
no spoilers, because it's all been spoiled.
Yeah, it's already been horribly spoiled. Yeah, it's a great idea. I'm trying to think what foods would be best laminated. I'd quite like a laminated trifle. I think that would look quite nice.
Oh, yeah. What's it? Do individual layers laminate? Because some people like, for example, if they have a cooked breakfast, they don't like the beans touching the hash browns or something like that. And if you laminated that and delivered all of your veggie breakfast laminated, then there wouldn't be any of that cross contamination with the plate, the different foodstuffs, or with you, because you wouldn't be able to eat it because it was toasted.
Do you think this is all
plastic?
Because I've never thought about it like this before. But like sort of airplane meals, or in fact just sort of ready meals from supermarkets, they're partly laminated, but not quite. Maybe not quite enough. But was that where you sort of got your inspiration from?
Well, I thought I had a ready meal and it was all wrapped in plastic, and I thought, well, surely wrapping things in plastic is the most fun out of particularly this food stuff. And why am I missing out on the fun of laminating my food? Why does the person at the factory get to do it? So I make my own food and laminate it just so I get that joy, and then I get to keep it all stacked up in my downstairs bathroom. Brilliant.
And of course, I know people say sort of wrapping things in plastic isn't environmentally friendly, but if you're wrapping it in plastic and then not remotely eating it, then it doesn't go. You're not getting rid of. You're not throwing it away either. So it won't go.
No, and I build things out of it.
Oh yeah. So what have you built?
Which is sustainable. I've built a pig pen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it doesn't work until the pigs eat the plastic. It's horrific. The pigs and then the pigs get really ill. And but the thought was there.
Yes. So now you just got a lot of sort of dead pigs and a ruin.
But they're not dead. They're
really
very ill.
Sure. Yeah. That's worried. But then I suppose you see now I wouldn't consider this as a vegetarian, but you eat pigs.
I don't eat the pigs.
Yeah.
I don't eat. No, I don't know those pigs. No. I just house them.
Right, because I was going to say if you did eat them, they're already ready laminated, so you could then not eat them
internally.
You could eat, but not eat them because they're already, your bacon sandwich is already laminated.
So in fact, that the plastic I'm using to laminate the food that then accidentally poisons the pigs is reused.
Yeah.
Because it's also internally laminating the pigs.
Yes. So
in fact, it's actually even more environmentally friendly than I thought.
Well, that's amazing. I'm amazed that everyone isn't laminating their food. When you sort of say it like this, maybe this is the key to saving the planet. Is to cover.
I mean, I don't know if the Nobel Prize Committee listen to this podcast. I think they probably do.
Yes, they do. They write in occasionally. Yeah.
I think that my work will be recognised, hopefully, after we've had this conversation.
I think, yeah, I mean, almost certainly they'll recognise it. They'll be able to point at it from across the road and go, "There it is."
That man's doing that. Why?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know what they'll say about that, but they'll know it's yours, and I think that's.
Is there a Nobel Prize for laminating?
I mean, if there isn't, there should be. The people must have laminated. I'm trying to think what they've won Nobel Prizes for before. They've discovered atoms, haven't they? They probably imagine if those atoms had been laminated, then.
Stopping wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If both sides of the wars were encased in plastic with air holes, obviously I'm not a monster. Surely that would help.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah, cured illnesses. But if you just sort of laminated people, they wouldn't catch anything anyway. So they'd be laminated.
No, yeah. I mean, all this PPE thing. If everyone was totally encased in plastic, then actually there's some downsides to that, aren't
there? Yes, there are. I think like going to the loo would be very hard, particularly.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be hard. It would just
be absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible, sort of bulging, pooey laminate. And that is quite disgusting.
I think that we probably need another disclaimer that I'm not an actual qualified doctor, so maybe that people shouldn't follow these.
Do you have to be a doctor to laminate things? I didn't think that was part of the.
Yeah, I think you do have to be a doctor to do you not?
I don't know. Is that part of the? Is it the hippopotamus Hippocratic?
Yeah. I've because I've got a laminator, I made myself and I'm a proper doctor badge.
Oh, sure.
And laminated
it. That counts. So, I think that counts.
Yeah. But I'm not a proper doctor, just in case anyone out there thinks I am.
Wait, hang on. But are you a proper doctor? But you're not a proper doctor. Is that how it works?
I'm not a proper doctor, but I am also a doctor of applied mathematics, so not a medical doctor.
Sure. But I meant Howard Reed is not a doctor, but Howard Reed is a doctor. Is that have I got that?
He is a doctor, but not a
medical doctor.
Just an academic doctor.
A doctor
I'm
a doctor of academics.
Award-winning mathematics.
Award-winning mathematics.
Yeah.
Which was that for your 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4?
Yeah. All the potatoes are laminated, so you can't eat them.
Yes.
Which song is, that I wrote. Yeah.
I mean, quite impressive that you laminated quite so many potatoes.
It took ages. And broke 3 laminators.
Wow! And if you still got them, then I assume these potatoes.
Of course, I don't. Yeah, it's collection again. There's another collection of laminated potatoes.
It's fascinating, just fascinating. Well, I'm so grateful you could come on the show and talk to us about it because I don't think we've had anyone. Well, I don't think we've had anyone really before. I'm not sure. Sometimes
this is the first podcast.
I think so. Sometimes I get very confused about what's actually happened and what hasn't happened, and there is every chance this is the first one. And don't they say all times happening at the same time? So this might be happening in the future. I don't know. It's very confusing.
I don't think all time is happening at the same time. Some of it's before and some of it's after.
Oh, is it? Oh, then maybe this isn't the first one.
I think you're thinking of things.
Yes.
Happening at the same time, not time happening at the same time.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
things happen at the same time, but
it's because they both begin with the T, and I sometimes I get confused.
Yeah. So and you also begin with the T.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm happening all at the same time.
You sometimes begin with a coffee, though, don't you?
I do sometimes begin with a coffee. I have today. I've begun with a coffee. Yes. I don't know how I'll end.
Probably having a poo straight after the coffee.
Yeah, almost certainly. Begin with a coffee, end with a poo. That's the law of the scientific law of Tiernan, I think, is the where you to scribble that on a chalkboard. That it's science is amazing. Well, listen, it's fantastic to have you back on the show again, even though this is the first one.
Me.
And I've asked you this before, but I didn't pay any attention to what you said, so it doesn't really matter. But I wondered that because this is an audio podcast, as you well know, and as all the listeners know, that they hear this with their ears. Sometimes it might be their bums, their elbows. We don't discriminate however they want to listen to it. And I just wondered if you had a favourite noise that you could share with us today.
Yes, it's
Wow. And what was that?
That was the noise of someone pressing lightly on the top of a snail.
Is that that?
Yeah.
And do snails make that noise with their mouths, which are on their feet, or is that the noise of the sort of air expressed from the the snail?
I don't know, but it always happens when I gently press on a snail, and it might be just a physical reaction of the body of the snail. That's the noise it makes, or it might be the snail just going, "Get off."
Yeah, it's quite a lovely
stop.
noise. I like it. I didn't realize snails made such a nice noise.
I mean, yeah, if it is the snail saying, "Get off me, please stop gently pressing on me," it's counterintuitive, because I just want to hear it. Just want to hear it again.
Yeah,
this snail I'm doing this to now is getting very annoyed.
Yes, I can see. It was sort of see. I mean, I can't really tell. They're moving their sort of googly eyes in a very irate way.
It's very flat now as well,
yeah,
because of all the gentle pressing.
Almost a slug.
It goes off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
You have to press slightly firmer every single time to get the noise out. So it's quite
the tone doesn't change though with the further pressing, does it, or does it?
Let's see.
No, I mean that's quite impressively. Yeah. So if you were to get a selection, if you were to get one of those giant snails all the way down to a tiny weeny beanie snail, you could possibly have a lovely sort of collection of possibly play some music.
I'll see if I can. I'll just send a text to see if I can get them sent.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I should have kept the ones from my lettuce. Sorry,
styles.
Let them go.
How big were they?
One was quite big, not giant, just sort of like. Yes. I assume so. I mean, I didn't press it obviously at the time, but because I didn't know. And then one was sort of a smaller, but with a kind of nicely curly shell. Yes, lovely. Oh, I should have really kept them. I feel sad that I didn't embellish the musical gift that I was given.
Well, we could have played a tune. We could have made beautiful, slightly depressed snail music.
Yeah.
And scale music. We could have played a scale with snails.
Literally depressed as you depress.
Yes,
them.
I mean yes.
Wow, well, that was a lovely noise. I had no idea that snails were quite so musical. And again, I feel, I have to say I'm not a big fan of snails because they just look like snot with a hat. And
also, as a vegetarian, they're kind of you're on the same sort of food chain as them. They're competitors on the same level of the food chain.
My lettuce. It's
Yeah.
So I have many reasons to be quite angry with them. I do admire the fact that they travel with their home. I always think that's quite. I'd quite like that. I kind of sometimes wish I could just sort of strap my home on my back and then have a little wander and then go on holiday. Really
you look great with a home strapped to your back.
Thanks. Yeah, I've often thought about it. Yeah, it's quite heavy. I think I'd probably need a smaller home.
Yeah, I mean, you live in a flat, don't you? And so that would be tricky.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to get neighbours' permission when you wanted to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think I'd have to sort of move to a kennel, maybe, or a rabbit hutch or something, and then I could carry it around.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Because I suppose that's why snails don't have televisions or anything, because it'd just be too much.
Do they not? Get? They've not got like an AV set up in there when they go back into the shells.
Maybe a really small snail-sized.
Might be in there watching SpongeBob.
Yeah, you don't when you press them to get that noise, you don't occasionally hear different channels or songs or anything.
No. Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I haven't got any recording equipment, so maybe I should just and then listen very carefully to see if they're watching Gravity Falls.
Yes, that's it. Or a little.
They only watch.
Press it and you say, "Here is the news." Yeah. Could be. Wow.
I mean, they're already depressed, so they might as well watch the news.
Well, I think it's a bit. I'd have thought snail news is quite good, wasn't it?
There are lettuces building up on over there. Yeah. Go and eat them.
Tomorrow's weather, rainy. Hooray! Like they'd be really pleased about it, so yeah. Well,
yeah, although I live we have our front path, whenever it rains, is totally covered in snails. So when you come home at night, you don't know it's totally covered in snails, and it's there's a lot of crunching going on, and you.
Oh no! Have you thought about wearing softer shoes so instead of crunching, you just get your lovely noise?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I should just go out in my socks all the time.
Yes,
when it rains.
Yes, yeah. And you get a lovely musical walk home.
That was a big one.
That was yes.
Yeah.
That's a much nicer way to do it. And snails might be depressed, but they won't be crunched. So I think it works out better. Yeah, that is lovely. Lovely. Well, that's fantastic noise. Thank you for that very much. And I'm definitely going to be treating snails differently when I next see one, probably in a lettuce. And of course, the other thing I have to ask you, we were talking about legal disclaimers before. This is sort of our one, is that this is a show that's suitable for people of all ages, every age you can imagine. Can you imagine an age?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, probably that one. I mean, unless you've mentioned 100, in which case, no. But every other age, it's suitable for them. And so I just want to check if there are any rude words you won't be saying on the show.
Well, I obviously won't be saying butt crumpets.
Oh, no. Goodness, no.
I mean, partly because I have got in big trouble for saying that in the past.
Yes.
So there won't be. If anyone's worried about the use of the word butt crumpets in this podcast, it won't happen.
Well, I really appreciate that. And of course, I mean, I know you've laminated butt crumpets before, but obviously we won't bring that up as...
Yeah. I've laminated so you can't hear them. So you can't hear the word butt crumpets. Yeah.
Thank goodness for that, yes.
I mean, the worst you hear because of the barrier of plastic.
Yes.
But I won't even be saying
don't.
Or butt crumpets.
Don't, because I think I'm worried that it's one of those terms that there are certain countries in the world where we may have listeners hearing this, or in fact, areas of space where it will be okay, but the majority, I think, would be quite upset.
Yeah, and I won't be saying anything even remotely close to butt crumpets. Like, I won't be saying butt oven bottom muffins.
Oh, sure, yeah.
What
about bum oatcakes?
I mean, because of the different. I think oatcakes might be all right because they're a different consistency, but yeah, anything leaven to do with butts is
right.
Out.
Okay, so
small round and leaven.
Oh, so like buttock pancakes?
No.
Okay.
No, you can't say that.
You can't say that. Okay. Right. So what about botty pikelets?
Pikelets? What are those?
Pikelets are like really small, thin crumpets.
Ooh,
yeah.
Are they like bumblinis?
Bumblinis, yes, I believe so. Which is a word that we mustn't say on the show, and yet I wish I could say at all times of every day. It's a very satisfying, if horrendously offensive word.
We can't always have what we want.
No, we can't.
As a man who lives in a building full of laminated food knows.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes. Well, thank you for not saying butt crumpets or any of the affiliated 11 bottom breads. And, of course, the most important thing now is we have had a question sent in from a listener, and this is one of the reasons I asked you back on the show, is that I think this is a question for you, really. I don't know who else could answer this, I'll be honest. It wasn't even that I wanted to get you on, but I don't know who else would have been able to do it, so I didn't really have a choice. And this question is, I'll read it. Hello, it's Jasper. So it's nice to know it is Jasper who sent this. Age 12. Okay. Again, we don't know if that's years, cheeses, shoes. I don't know 12 what, but we'll assume years. And my question is, when am jellyfish? That's what Jasper wants to know.
Right. When am jellyfish?
When am jellyfish?
Yeah. I mean, I can see why you called me.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky one. It's a stumper, isn't it?
Yes. Can I ask which bit you're thrown off? Because I know that if it were to say, where are jellyfish, you'd probably be able to.
You're over there.
That's very easy. When is jellyfish? I think potentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's most of time, isn't it?
Yes.
When is jellyfish?
Exactly.
When have jellyfish been?
Yes.
But when am jellyfish that's very...
Who is jellyfish? Could you answer that?
Yeah, Ian.
Yeah, of course.
Ian is jellyfish.
Yeah.
That's the main jellyfish, isn't it? That's what we all know.
Everyone knows Ian.
Yeah.
Ian jellyfish, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if everyone knows that everyone knows Ian, but most jellyfishes you see, they look like very sedentary, floaty things.
Yes.
But actually, it's one very agile jellyfish who's nipping about all over the shop, so it looks like there's loads of them.
Yes, I mean,
Ian is a mover and a shaker. He really is.
He's remarkable actually that he gets about quite so often. And no wonder he stings people, because he's obviously so overworked.
I don't think he does it on purpose. He's just moving so quickly that there's just trailing. It's really not a good body to have if you're jetting all over the world pretending to be every single jellyfish in existence for every person on the planet.
Yeah, but I mean that was sort of, I'm probably going to sound quite callous. It was sort of Ian's choice to do that. It was like what he'd always wanted to do.
I mean, he had career options. He could have been a lawyer, but he decided to be an omnipotent jellyfish.
Yes. Well, that's, we choose our own paths. Yours obviously covered in snails, but Ian's being a jellyfish everywhere in the world, and that's so. So I understand that you can answer that. We all know who is jellyfish. Where is
when Am Jellyfish? When Am Jellyfish? When? I mean, I'd say Thursday.
Which Thursday?
Now you're trying to pin me down, aren't you?
Well, because I feel like Jasper needs a more. I don't think you can give Jasper such a sort of vague answer as just a Thursday, because what if he listens to this on a Thursday and it's already passed, or he's listened on a Friday, and it was the last Thursday? It's good to give him some preparation.
There's no way that the listeners can know this, but we're actually recording this on a Thursday.
We are indeed, yeah.
So, when Am Jellyfish? I mean, what about Thursday, the 8th of July?
Yes,
1842.
Okay. So so when Am Jellyfish have happened, when Am Jellyfish did happens.
Yeah, did happen.
And
the date I just said.
And was that the first amming of jellyfish? Was that when jellyfish first did happen, or have jellyfish happened previous, or maybe it was the last time?
Well, I mean, we've got to probably burrow into the grammar of this, isn't it? When Am Jellyfish? When obviously means what? Where?
Yes.
When in time?
Yes.
Am obviously means am.
Yes. Or morning. It could mean morning. It could be AM.
AM. Well, when AM Jellyfish. Yeah. Are we reading this entirely wrong? Yes. When AM Jellyfish.
Yes.
It's the same time as AM for everyone else.
Yes, sure. Yes. Well, yes, of course. Unless, hang on, I'm going to throw a spanner into the works here. Unless they mean like AM radio station, which obviously all the listeners will understand. In the age of FM, AM, or digital, and AM, which means music, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because the jellyfish have those dangling tentacles, maybe those work as aerials, and maybe they can still receive AM broadcasts.
Yes. Yeah.
But I believe box jellyfish have been upgraded to DAB.
Have they? That's good to know.
Yes.
That's nice.
They can receive digital radio.
Yes. Yeah, that must be good. There's quite a lot of sonar in the sea, with all the dolphins and the whales. It must get quite confusing knowing which to pick up.
Yeah.
To get the music
and
you want.
You just have to twiddle the top of the canopy.
Right.
To tune in to the different frequencies.
Right, and that's
so I think the answer is when AM Jellyfish is when the government get round to rolling out digital coverage for all jellyfish.
I hope that happens.
I think it's the answer.
It's very unfair.
Yeah.
Very unfair that they don't get to hear all the music that everyone else loves and enjoys.
With the clarity of digital broadcasting.
Well, exactly. And I hope that day comes soon.
Yeah. I mean, I think possibly we need to get, on behalf of Jasper, so he gets the full answer to this question, we need to get in touch with the jellyfish authorities to work out when digital rollout is going to happen.
Yes, they're quite sort of wobbly, aren't they? In sort of, they're not great for sort of firm decisions.
No.
Like this.
And the thing is about jellyfish, it's sometimes quite hard to tell whether you've laminated them or not.
Yeah, I bet.
They're already transparent. If you coat them in plastic, they don't struggle as much.
I do worry that you've been laminating jellyfish as well. Then, were any of them part of the jellyfish council? Because if you've laminated them, it's going to be quite hard to get them to make a decision on this.
Although they are all in, so if I've laminated one, I must have laminated most of them.
Oh, that's terrible. But also, you don't know because you might have just laminated laminate, and it looks like a jellyfish.
Yeah. I might have, in the process of trying to laminate everything else, I might have melted some plastic to sort of the globulous mass on the floor.
Can I check? You might have done that, but have you done that?
No, I wouldn't.
No, so then hopefully that's all. Hopefully that's all right.
But it's got me written all over it though. That's the thing.
With what? With a marker?
Mistaking a globulous pile of melted plastic with a jellyfish and laminating it. That's the sort of thing I do, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, well, this is why I asked you and you on the show. I was worried. I was kind of hoping we'd get a definitive answer for Jasper, which we have, but I'm also slightly worried that the answer is a bit concerning.
Unsatisfactory. I mean, it's unsatisfactory, and I think we need to find out if Jasper's satisfied. Because if he's not, I will happily come round and wash the inside of his house clean.
Really? Or will you just laminate it?
Well, I mean, I'll tell him I'm washing it, but I'll secretly be laminating everything.
Sure, which he might like. I don't know, and in a way, it sort of makes everything easier to wipe clean, doesn't it? So
yeah, but yes and no. In that the laminator's got quite a thin slot, so I won't have to smash everything in his house up to a small enough to get through the lamination machine.
But isn't that tidying it up in some? I think that's sort of tidying it up.
I mean, there'll be a lot less dust outside the lamination envelope. Inside, it'll be just dust, basically. But
of course. But I think that sounds like the only option, and I think that's definitely an answer for Jasper. We've and I think you've answered it in every possible. It was either Thursday, 8th of July, 18. Was it 44?
46. It wouldn't be 44.
Yes, yeah, of course. It couldn't have been 44. Sorry, that would have been a ridiculous thing to say. Yes, absolutely nothing else is able to happen that year, as we know. So 46.
Full, wasn't it? One of the only years that was full.
Yes, completely full.
It literally couldn't fit anything else into it.
No, just too much happened.
Shocker.
Yeah.
In fact, they did New Year's Day early because they just went, no, that's enough. We can't fit anything else in this year.
Yeah.
It's over now. Straight on to
well, that was
45.
Bizarrely. Then they didn't add any extra day, so you just had this very long bit of like nothing, didn't you, till January the 1st?
It's just one really long day.
No one could write in any diaries. All the calendars had to be binned, so no one. If you go back and say what happened in those days, no one can tell you because they haven't got a.
But of course, they've carried that tradition on for the entire period between Christmas and New Year, and that's exactly what Christmas and New Year feels like in memory of that year.
Yes.
Just avoid where nothing happens. And why do we do this? Why don't we just get on with it? Why don't we just
no, because the whole but things aren't as full now as they were that year. So I feel like it's not as needed, but it
no.
So, yeah.
Still,
so you said when Am Jellyfish is 1846 July the 8th Thursday. When AM is in the morning Jellyfish, then it's the same as everyone else, or when AM radio station Jellyfish, it's when we can.
It's when the government get round to sorting out the digital rollout of Jellyfish.
Yes.
So it's three answers in one, and with one answer for all of them together, I'd say now.
Great, that's very handy. Yeah. That's very handy, but now, or when the listeners hear this now.
Well, okay, we probably need to coordinate exactly when everyone starts listening to the podcast. And if they can start now, then it's now.
Great, that's great. And unfortunately for Jellyfish, this is only available on digital. It's a podcast, so they won't be able to hear it at all.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, Ian. What can I do? I've sent him before, but not really anything I can do about it. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard life. Thank you, Howard. Thank you for and thank you, Howard, as well.
That's a pleasure.
For
it's always nice to be here.
Yeah, and is that both of you saying that, or just the one of you?
I would think it would be obvious by now.
Yeah,
that's a bit offensive.
Yes. Sorry, I apologise, but I don't apologise to you. Yeah. So with that, thank you both for the answers, and good luck with the collecting. I guess you got a bit more of that to do today, and a bit more laminating.
Yeah, we're thinking of moving on to gum.
Yeah.
Just gum, not just chewing gum, but gum of all consistencies. Sort of gums they use when they're people decorating. I count blue tack as gum.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be collecting all those in an enormous ball of all different sorts of gum, and just seeing what happens.
Sounds fantastic, and I look forward to seeing that, if I can indeed see it under sort of all the other things that you've collected.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be pretty big. I think hopefully if my gum collecting targets a hit, you should be able to see it from your house by 2029.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I understand that year's not going to be that full, so that I'm looking forward to more things.
If it's going to be full of anything, it's going to be full of different sorts of gum.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Hal. Thank you for sparing the time and for coming on the show. And we'll hopefully see you and indeed your incredibly large ball of laminated gum very soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Viv.
Who hit the halibut on the poop deck?
Many giant worried otters to Howard Reed for answering Jasper's very important and indeed highly philosophical question. And also, for being Howard Reed and Howard Reed at the same time. Jasper, I hope you're happy with Howard and Howard answering your jellyfish query. And if you're not, then please do write your complaints onto a pebble and throw it into the sea where jellyfish themselves can ignore it. Thank you. If you have a question you need answering on this show, a joke you want to send in, your impression of a happy frog or video game so you can win a game of Uproar, or you just want to send in your recommended exclamation words, then you can do all of that by asking your stinking cheese snorers to help you email us at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. You can find our live shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk, so you can come see us tell jokes to your face, and you can grab our t-shirts at comedyclubforkids.store. And that's it. Blooming seaweed hats. That's the end of the show. Farting llama warriors. Until next week. Awkward biscuits. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. Radio nonsense. It's the end.